Hey guys, it's Jason here. So guys, tonight we are unboxing the Arrma Big Rock 3S version truck. So some people call it the Big Rock Junior. However you want to put it, it is a 1/10 scale brushless monster truck, four-wheel drive. And you know, this is pretty cool because I'm a big fan of Arrma. I've owned Big Rock, like the Nero Big Rock, the Outcast, the Typhoon, however you want to call it, and I also had a Sentin. So I'm a big fan of Arrma. I'd gotten rid of them, I think, at the time that I was trying to fund the Kraken project. But I have missed them. And when I first saw this, I honestly thought it was the same truck, but more plastic and, you know, just a cheaper version of the Nero. Until I finally started paying attention to it and started seeing pictures of the body off, and I realized, oh, this is a completely different truck. It's a 1/10 scale. It's smaller. It's 2.8. It's not the bigger 3.8. It's completely different. And one thing else that this truck is, and I was looking for it, and I finally read it back over here, is designed in the UK by Arrma RC, a trade name of Horizon Hobby. So this is, you know, basically since Horizon bought out or bought over Hobbico, however you want to put it. So I'm hoping that, you know, like I said, I'm a big fan of Arrma. I like what they do with their vehicles. I'm hoping, there's a tool, guys. I don't spend a whole lot of time with this, except for the fact that this is kind of a neat wrench. Just because it's a T-wrench, it'll kind of grab the wheel nuts pretty nice. I'm hoping that's what's on the end there. Again, I don't spend a lot of time with the radios, but this is the 2-channel tactic radio that you've seen in Arrma's and Axials now for a while. It's actually a pretty comfortable radio. I've always liked it, so I don't have a problem keeping that. But guys, on to the main event. Got this cardboard out. Oh guys, that blue looks so good. So, yeah, guys, this is a 1/10 scale Big Rock, and it is, the blue is amazing. Again, these are 2.8s, so I can kind of grab, I have my Badlands on the Rustler right now. This is what comes on the Rustler 4x4, VXL and 4x4. So you can see they're quite a bit smaller than the stock tires on this, but I'll do a video at some point. This truck has 14 millimeter hexes on it. So my 12 millimeter rims that I have for the Rustler are not going to fit right now. Obviously we can do adapters. I even think Proline makes, I did see a 14 millimeter aluminum adapter, which is really expensive. It's like 45 bucks or 50 bucks US or something like that, which I thought was kind of crazy for the mounts for the back of my rims. But we'll see what's out there. I would like to get the MX-28s on here, but so guys, going back to what I was saying a little bit ago, I didn't even really know this truck existed. I just started looking around because I knew I wanted something fun. I wanted, you know, I wanted something different than what I have, you know, or, you know, already type thing. So I started seeing pictures, and then I started seeing videos, and I thought, wow, this looks like a cool truck. And, you know, I like 10 scale monster trucks. I've always wanted to do, you know, kind of a mean Stampede, but, you know, the shortness of them always kind of threw me off because they kind of handle not the greatest because their wheelbase is so short. This is a tad bit longer, which, you know, it's funny. One complaint I'll have, and I'm going to kind of do this shot to kind of show you guys. I don't know why they made the body the way they did and not just make the wheelbase, you know, make the body a little bit longer, you know, maybe change out the bumpers a little bit so that you don't kind of have this overhang. It reminds me of, you know, back in the day when you know, I used to do conversions on Clodbusters and Juggernauts and stuff like that. You'd go with a long wheelbase kit, and then your body would always kind of look a little funny, you know, you'd kind of be sitting on top, and, you know, you'd have this look right here. Whatever, I'll get over it. Probably trying to maybe find an aftermarket body might be interesting because, again, because it's a slightly longer wheelbase, you'll have that kind of issue. Body, again, looks awesome. Definitely feels thick, like really thick. I can actually measure that later to get an idea, but it definitely feels thick. Kind of has like the newer Ford kind of design going on. That's too bad. Should have been a Ram, but anyways, I'll put that over here. And guys, let's take a look at the truck. All right, guys, so what we have here, we got a 100 amp ESC. We got a 3200 kV motor, which is pretty cool. I'm glad to see that that's in there. Knowing that Losi owns this now, well, Horizon Hobby, which owns Losi, I was sort of worried that it would have got that, I think it was 3800 kV, the motor that was in the Baja Ray and the Rock Ray. I did not like that motor at all. It cogged, I just did not like it at all. And I replaced it with like a $2200 or $22 brushless motor off eBay that actually performed better than it did. So I was glad to see that that's not what's in this truck. I do think this is just a rebranded Hobby Wing, which is a good thing. I shouldn't have said just, because I have really good luck with my Hobby Wings. Plus, it'll work with the program card. Servo, who cares? It's nothing special. It'll turn the tires. It's waterproof. You know, if I need something better, I'll go with something better. The cool thing, though, guys, about this truck is, and I'm not going to do it in the video, I'm not going to take it apart in the video, but everything's modular. So from what I understand and what I've read, it takes something like one screw to remove this assembly, the motor mount, this whole kind of assembly. And this comes out, I don't know if it's in one or two screws. This whole thing comes up. So basically the only thing you've got to do is disconnect the linkage for your steering, remove the 3 wires for the motor, and this will also come out. And I probably will do that, guys, in a video, because I'm going to change this over to an XT90, which is funny because Arrma's always came with XT90s. I always ran EC5s. Last summer I switched from EC5s to XT90s, and well, Arrma did the opposite. So, oh well. Now, going on in the truck. When I first saw this truck and I saw it with the body off, I thought this drive shaft is weird. It looks weird because it's just out there. And I thought, you know, it's funny that they didn't do some kind of, you know, enclosure on it or something like that. But any of us that's owned a Slash 4x4, Stampede 4x4, anything like that, knows that on the first run, you always get a rock in here, or sorry, on the Slash, in that little enclosure, and it ends up scraping the shit out of your drive shaft. You know, sometimes you can even end up lodging it in there and kind of, you know, jamming up the drive shaft. So, to be fair, it's got these big guards. Yes, you're going to get pebbles and all that kind of stuff up here. But if anything, this actually being open isn't a bad idea. It's got this little support bearing in the middle just to kind of keep the drive shaft obviously supported better. Whatever it is, I can't remember now what it's called, but the other Arrma, the monster truck version, Granite, I don't know, whatever it is, it doesn't have that because it does have the shorter wheelbase, but the Sentin, the Typhoon, and this, all in the 3S versions have that bearing there now. I did play around when I first took this out because I did kind of want to see it. That little piece of Arrma right there, right at the back of the bottom, the battery tray, you do have to remove that if you want to fit in one of the longer Gen Ace packs. These are the ones, these are kind of like the longer version 3S 5000 packs. I have these in my Revo 2.0. This will fit in here no problem after you remove that one little plastic piece. So that's kind of nice. Makes for kind of a simple, you know, simple way to get a battery in. Let's face it, with the Rustler, I actually had to buy a completely different 3S battery because there was no way I was going to get any of my other batteries in there. You do have metal gears in the diffs, but you have a plastic ring gear. So basically the outside of the diff where that gear is, it is plastic. But guys, I have watched a lot of videos on this truck. And to be fair, of all the videos I watched, those parts didn't break. I saw an arm, I saw one of the steering knuckles and stuff like that break, but the actual drive, the drive components, they held up. So I'm not too worried about that. Plus, I'm hoping, guys, to stick with these electronics. The ESC and the motor, I think they're going to be completely enough power. You know, I don't need to I'm not looking to build this into an 8 scale truck or anything like that. You know, I don't need to. 3S, guys, I think will be totally plenty. And let's face it, if you don't have to spend money on electronics, hey, why would you? Plastic shock caps up here, which is a bit odd. I'm assuming there'll probably be an aluminum upgrade soon. Same with the shock towers. But you do have steel turnbuckles, which is nice. Plastic drive shafts down here. Wheelie bar is a nice setup. It's kind of like, sort of reminds me of, I don't know if you guys can get a look. Sort of reminds me of the Traxxas wheelie bar, but it just doesn't have all the kind of you know, the mounts. It usually has like 3 different kind of mounting points. But we'll see how that hangs in there. You get the nice chrome bumpers, which look really, really nice. I got sent when I bought my truck. Bought my truck from Doc's Hobby in Sudbury, and they sent me these cool little stickers. Obviously, I live in Ontario, Canada, so I may have to drop one of those in there. Represent Doc's. They helped me out a lot with this purchase and getting it to me. Very fast, actually. They had somebody coming to where I live, and this guy basically decided that he was going to help me out and bring the truck to me. So that made things very fast today, very easy. So yeah, guys, 3S can run on 2S. Obviously, I'll be running on 3S. I'll probably let my son drive it on 2S. But I think this, guys, is going to be an awesome purchase. And so I feel like I should kind of put a little, not a disclaimer, an alert right now at what I'm about to say. Arrma is and this should be their slogan. And Arrma, if you do this, I want something out of it. Send me something for free. I feel like Arrma's slogan, you know, needs to be the big middle finger. It needs to be like giving the other RC brands the big middle finger. Because, you know, to be fair, before Arrma came along, 6S trucks, for example, were never 6S trucks. I had monster trucks that ran awesome on 4S. You could kind of run them on 5S if you were really, really good with the throttle. 6S, you just blew everything to shit. Gone, garbage. And so, yeah, they were 6S ESC and motors, but the trucks themselves were not. They were 4S trucks. Arrma comes along with their 6S series, their Neros, and their Creightons, and they just, you could run them 6S all day. I ran my Outcast one time in the snow on 6S, tires spinning, beating the crap out of it for 2 battery packs with not one issue. And it's one of the most important things, guys, for me is that raw, you know, how the truck is built stock wise, because, you know, you can improve things. You know, if you're one of those guys that wants to beat that truck a little harder, you want to go a little bit higher, you know, yeah, you might have to beef up some components, but you want the truck to handle the everyday stuff no problem. Arrma's always done that. So I have very high expectations for this truck, like huge. I'm looking forward to running it. I'm looking forward, obviously, my son to run it, but I'm going to have some fun with this truck. You know, if there's, you know, a few upgrades here and there to strengthen up a few parts, I will. You know, things, like I said, I've seen the steering knuckles, you know, an issue with the steering knuckles. I know the motor mount back here, there's nothing wrong with it, except for the fact that it makes it, there's kind of, basically the motor sits in kind of, it's got like pre-drilled holes for all the screws, and you can only do certain size pinions. So if you want to go to something completely different, you've got to go with the aftermarket. I know Hot Racing has it and a few other companies have it, but basically go with the aftermarket motor mount so that you can just kind of set up a, you know, your spur and pinion the way you would do any other vehicle. And like I said, guys, there's plastic drive shafts and all that kind of stuff. I'm assuming there'll be upgrades, but you know what? If I don't need them, I probably won't do them. I'm not going to spend the money. I don't. If I don't need them, I'm not going to do it. I like spending money on cosmetic things sometimes. You know, it's always fun to do, you know, wheels and tires and stuff like that. But if I don't have to, you know, upgrade certain components, I'm not going to. Okay, guys, I'm just going to throw the body back on. All right, guys, before I put the body back on, you know, I turned the camera off, I was just kind of looking at this, and I was looking at the connector and realized, yeah, you know, I gotta, you know, I'll have to get that done soon, switch it over to an XT90. I thought it would be fun to see how easy it is to remove this whole unit from the truck. So basically that's the ESC, the receiver box, and the servo. So I honestly don't know what I'm doing because I've not done this yet, but from what I understand, it's supposed to be pretty simple. So let's give it a try. So we're obviously, by the way, if you see this right here, guys, this I think is from, I don't know, I think I had it from my Yeti XL or something like that. I had a couple of them. I just stuck that on there because this is just, I don't know what they were thinking here, but this is a big mess of wires, and I don't really know why that's like that. But anyways, so I'm going to unplug those. I'm going to go underneath the, here's where the servo horn is. So we need to take that out, because that's pretty much the motor wires, and this are pretty much the only thing that's, you know, kind of connected to the rest of the truck. Obviously the steering servo is plugged into the receiver, which is part of that whole unit. The C is too, so everything's in that same place. So I'm thinking it's going to be this guy, this guy, and this guy, and this guy. That goes, no, that's part of the steering. Okay, well, you know what? Let's just see what happens. Yep. I can seriously, guys, tell you already that that was it. Look at that. Guys, that is super cool. You know, I always, not that you know, need to get all this out at once, but, you know, I can now take this out, easily do the connector, and, you know, throw it right back in. I usually actually end up doing my connectors on the vise. So that's really neat, guys. That's cool. That's a nice way to do it. It's an easy way to do it. And I'll do the connector, throw it back in, and we'll be ready to go. Anyways, guys, let's put the body on the truck. Got the body back on, guys, and this truck just looks great. It's funny, standing here back and looking at the camera and seeing, you know, how the truck looks like on screen. You know, it looks like a bigger truck. And then you look at it and you go, no, it's little. It's a 1/10 scale truck. So I'm going to, guys, just compare it right now to my Wrestler, so you guys can kind of get an idea. Now, yeah, the Wrestler right now has the 2.8s on it and stuff, but you can definitely see, guys, just get an idea at the size of it. So it's funny, you know, you look at it and you know, it definitely looks smaller. It is longer. And I mean, like I said, I do have the 2.8s in the Wrestler right now. Those probably will be going on the Big Rock, I think, because I like these tires and I think they'll look good on here. But anyways, guys, there it is. That is the newer Arrma Big Rock 3S BLX 100 amp ESC 3200 kV motor. From the videos, guys, I've watched, and like I mentioned earlier, guys, there's a lot out there, and the guys are running them hard. And it's funny because, you know, I hate to say this, guys, because I like my Wrestler, and I'm going to enjoy running it, and I'm going to have fun with it. But it's just funny because the videos that you see of this truck, that one running, and the videos you see of this one running, these people here, guys, are beating the living shit, sorry for swearing so much tonight, out of this truck. They're having fun with the Wrestler. They're having fun. But these videos of this truck just seem so much more hardcore. And I'm looking forward to, you know, getting my jump made this year and getting out and having some fun and you know, seeing what they can do. And you know, I don't hide anything, guys. I will go out, and if I run the two trucks together in the same day and I take that same jump over and over and one of them breaks, hey, that'll be the one I'm talking about. I don't cover anything up. I'm not a fanboy of any brands. I've got a Traxxas, I've got an Arrma, Whee! I've got a Sen. Got a pair of glasses. I got my Axial Wraith. My Revo 2.0. I got my Kraken. And I got my Traxxas Bronco. So yeah, I've got a few Traxxas trucks. But, you know, I just buy, guys, what I like. And, you know, I'm not brand loyal by any means. You know, the Sen Reaper is one of my favorite trucks. The Colossus XT, whatever you want to call it, is one of my favorite trucks. But they don't do a lot of other things. And they do have a new truck coming out, but there's no marketing on it. I don't even know what it is. Saw a couple of pictures. They're just doing a horrible job of it. And that, you know, I was excited to buy a truck right now. I saved up a couple of bucks, you know, and going Arrma, I know, is not going to be a mistake. My son, you know, when he saw the big bright blue body, he was like, whoa, that's so, you know, he was super happy, super impressed. I'm probably going to try to get a couple of stickers on there and stuff like that, because it's a little, even though it looks good, a little bit of character might help it. But anyways, guys, there it is. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this semi kind of quick listening to me ramble on about it. But, you know, I can't say this enough, guys. I've owned 4 Arrmas, and they were awesome. And, you know, I know this is a different series. I know it's not as heavy duty and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, Arrma built a reputation on being the vehicles that take more abuse than the other brands can give them. And I'm assuming that they did not change things with this line. And from the videos that I've seen, they did not. I believe this thing is going to take a, you know, huge, you know, beating and you know, live to talk about it. I'm also going to mention, guys, you know, why, besides from obviously everything I've talked about and how awesome I believe it's going to be and how good Arrma is, I had looked at a few other vehicles. I looked at the Savage XS, that one with the green wheels, because it looks killer. I had considered a Slash 4x4. I had considered a Slash 2-wheel drive. I had considered another Rustler, the brushed version. But, you know, you also want something new. I mean, to have a second Rustler is kind of boring. I've already got the VXL 4-wheel drive one, a couple of bucks into it. You know, why buy another one? Doesn't really make any sense. So that's why, guys, I, you know, decided to grab the Big Rock and, you know, see what this thing's like. Our outside is finally kind of all dry, mostly dried up. The snow is gone. So I'm going to be able to get out soon and start running these trucks and, you know, definitely put them through the paces and see how they hold up. I am going to figure out what I need for hubs so I can throw the MX-28s on the Big Rock. And anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Again, Arrma, if you use my phrase, you use my slogan, giving the other RC brands a big middle finger, hey, I want something out of it. Anyways, guys, thanks a lot. Have a great night.